ago on the planet Earth, two brothers started watching Transformers media, and now they are going to make it your problem. Hi, I'm Hayden.
And I'm in a plasma bath!
And welcome to BroBots in Disguise, where we are going through and discussing every episode of every major Transformers cartoon.
Welcome back to Season 3 of BroBots in Disguise, where we are starting our discussion of Season 3 of the original Transformers animated series, released in 1986, and loosely following the episode order for Season 3 on TF Wiki, with many adjustments for continuity, because, oh my goodness!
Yeah, this season also gets pretty whack with the continuity.
Well, it's because they were released out of order! Also, There's not really continuity, but there is continuity, but... It's weird. Season 3 has continuity, but they weren't released in order.
Yep.
So they're like, you got characters showing up out of nowhere, and then like 5 episodes later, they get an origin episode. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wait a minute, how could you... What?
Thankfully.
And then things will happen before they happen, and never mind. Anyway, I fixed it.
Yeah.
Mostly.
We tried.
As far as I'm aware, I fixed it. Short of rewatching the whole season, I fixed it as well as I could remember. It needs to be fixed.
We tried our best.
But today is easy because it's just part 1 through 5 of the 5 Phases of Darkness, where nobody expects the Quintesson Inquisition!
Yes!
We get a low-budget TV sequel to the movie.
Yeah, very low budget. We'll talk about it in depth, but...
This is like beyond Splinter of the Mind's Eye to A New Hope.
Yes.
This is the holiday special to The New Hope.
Yeah.
Well, with the themes of The Empire Strikes Back. Like,
yeah, it's like...
We'll talk about that later when we get to it.
But first up, we have a new theme song to discuss for 2 new theme songs.
Yeah, 2 new intro videos, but the same theme song.
Yeah.
Michelle says the new theme song is kind of creepy with the
There's a summoning ritual happening in the background.
Yeah. But yeah, so one is specifically for 5 Faces, even though both of them kind of reference things that happen in the 5 Faces of Darkness. One is specifically just events from the 5 Faces of Darkness.
Yeah, it's just stuff from the episodes, but just animated for a music video, and it's odd. I mean, it works, but it's odd.
Yeah, it's like, first you get the Rockoroid, and it's used to deploy the good guys and bad guys, the Autobot and Decepticon symbols, because the Rockoroid is used by both good guys and bad guys.
Yes.
And explosions. The Decepticons fight over Energon, and there's a tan shockwave, which just makes me think of Six Shot from Energon.
Yes.
And I think they're either on Cybertron or on Char. I guess continuity-wise, it should be Char, but it kind of looks like Cybertron.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Char. It's the action from Char.
And then they're just getting bullied by the Autobots, who are just shooting at him. And Rodimus has the whole Transformers brand logo on his chest. It's funny.
Oh, yeah.
It works. And then Galvatron emerges from the pool of plasma and destroys a planet, which is kind of backwards from what he does in the show. But we'll get to that later. And then there's a cool scene where Daniel witnesses the transformation and fight of the 2 city robots, which honestly is better animated than in the actual show.
Yeah, it feels very classic Godzilla, where it's like the kid seeing the giant monster and be like, ah!
I like also the up angle. The ant's eye view. Then you get a very trimmed down version of the Quintesson judgment scene of Ultra Magnus and the group. But it's staged like the movie version, where they're on the little platform and then dropped. Yeah. Instead of the whole floor falling out from it. Anyway. Then you see the planet Goo, and Springer unlike in the episode, Springer rescues everybody and leaves Rodimus to die. But he's okay. He escapes the machine.
He'll be fine.
Then there's the Season 3 proper intro, which is for the rest of the series, where we get Unicron's head, which is a reminder of the continuity, and maybe Ratbat is getting a hologram of it. I don't know.
Ratbat doesn't really show up that much.
Yeah, not in these, but in Season 3 he does. There's lots of Blitzwings, which is a possible reference to an idea that was cut from 5 Phases of Darkness, where there was an ancient army of Blitzwings.
That explains so much about his character arc.
We'll talk about that more later. Then Skylynx chases Cyclonus, who's on fire, and the sweeps through space debris. And maybe it's just maybe it's the destroyed space station from this from like episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then there is a TV, which is always a reminder of the Planet of Junk. So maybe it's Junk from Planet of Junk. I don't know. Maybe they discovered him out there, and that's what made him return. I don't know. On the TV is a better animated broadcast of the fight between Metroplex and Trypticon from the end of Yeah, it's funny how he just spins them around. But I like that transition into the... There's some cool transitions where the spin turns into Saturn, and then Wheelie and Blur drive around Saturn, which it's funny because it's
around
Jupiter.
The rings of Saturn.
Like in 2001: A Space Odyssey, it was Saturn, and then it got changed into Jupiter.
Yep. Jupiter's just more photogenic.
And then Wheelie's spinning wheel turns into Galvatron's gun. I don't know why Galvatron is facing off against Blaster of all people in the woods.
So that we can have the ripple transition.
Yeah. I like that ripple transition. And then it turns into, I guess the Sharkticon is chasing something that already made some ripples.
Yeah, Blaster kind of becomes way more of a character throughout season 3.
Yeah, he shows up.
He gets a lot of a spotlight.
Yeah, because his toy was still available!
Yeah, and selling well!
And then the end credits is just footage all from Five Face Darkness.
Which that's pretty standard.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though, because like you might watch one of the Toei animated episodes, and then they've got end credits footage from ACOM.
Yeah. Goofy.
Yeah. At the time of this recording, these Transformers are available on Hasbro Pulse, YouTube channel, as well as DVD and several other streaming services as Tubi and Pluto. We're not sponsored. Our podcast is available on YouTube and Spotify. Mm-hmm. And with that, let's get into our first episode discussion.
Five Faces of Darkness, Part 1. The Decepticons suffer leaderless and exiled on planet Char, while the Autobots celebrate their victory with the Galactic Olympics, which are attacked by Skuxoid and the Sharkticons. Cup, Spike, and Ultra Magnus are kidnapped, and Springer and RC track the Skuxoid. Rodimus and Grimlock investigate Char, where Cyclonus is preparing to seek out Galvatron. Wheelie and Blur are sent to Earth with Metroplex's T-Cog. There's a lot of T's and X's sounds in that description.
How many proper nouns can I make Hayden say?
Oh boy, that was tough.
It's like let's make Hayden read the 1986 product catalog.
Just like, listen, I can read pretty well, just not that many back to back.
So we start off with a little recap of the end of the movie, and it's really weird because they've dubbed it with music from the animated series instead of music from the movie. There's such a
bizarre whiplash in between
sound effects from the animated series. Yeah, it's very weird to see that. Season 3 will eventually get music that sounds more in line with the movie, but for like the first fourth of season 3, they're still using season 1 and 2 music.
Yeah, that
which
classic
is
kind of cheery sort of sounds like.
It's kind of a cool reprise, and like kind of helps you go from season 2 to 3, but it's also very jarring because I'm so used to the movie's music being associated with the movie's characters.
It's like the movie is like a giant speed bump that you just hit full speed and you don't even really realize that it's there, but it's like boom, like that, and then everything's different and you're like and it's like is everyone okay? Okay, we're good, and that's like the music easing us in. And then as season 3 rolls around, it's like, oh no, everything is different. Our suspension is shot, man.
and then we go from the flashback animation that is the proper Toei animation from the movie to the ACOM animation. Just this absolute plummet in quality of the season 3, just jumping immediately. It's hilarious.
We've dogged on ACOM for a hot minute throughout most of this podcast, every time that they've shown up as an animator on the show. It's not terrible.
Yes,
it's not
the first
two
episodes
bad.
are actually pretty good for ACOM's usual. There's still problems here and there, but overall it looks pretty decent. And I noticed there was some close-up shots that looked like just regular Transformers animation.
I was like,
wow,
it's not bad.
Good. Yeah,
it's not great, but it's not bad. But they also have the unenviable position of, one, they have a lower budget than all of the other animation companies. 2, they're stuck with the movie designs, which are some of the more complicated like difficult to animate designs of the entire like series.
Yeah.
So yeah, every time that the Quintessons are on screen, it's just sort of like, oh, you poor sweet child. I'm so sorry. You have to move this thing around on the screen.
Yeah, so their solution is we just don't. We only animate.
They stay still for a long time.
Anyway, there's still a lot of animation errors and stuff, and it gets worse as Five Faces goes on. But at least for the first 2 episodes, it's not as bad.
It's not too bad.
It looks pretty good.
But I love the whole beginning sequence that's establishing, like, even after the movie set a new status quo, and it kind of felt like, this is the end of everything. Like, this is the end of Transformers as a concept. It's like, the war is over. This one being, like, an epilogue of the Autobots have won, the Decepticons are floundering.
Yes. And...
yeah, the seeing them all the Decepticons, like, desperately clawing for resources and survival on Char, like this kind of disparity between like some people were just like thugs, like just in it for being a thug, and then others like really believed the ideology of Megatron and stuff like that, like the strong will rise up and take over the weak and stuff. And but them being in like just a pathetic position, like the fanatics and the zealots being kind of at odds with the realists and the dead ends of face it, we're doomed.
I find it really interesting. This is a good example of the difference between Autobot and Decepticon leadership. Whereas the Autobots continue on with a new leader, Megatron made the whole Decepticon movement about himself. Which lines up with something we'll talk about later when we get to episode 4. But, so when he's removed, it all falls apart. But it's very curious that all of the ambitious Decepticons don't try to take over. Like, I mean, of course, Starscream is dead at this point.
Yeah. He was kind of the driving force.
Dead but not gone.
Yes.
Yeah. But, like, Blitzwing and Astro Train tried to take over several times previously.
Yeah.
So what's with them now? And we'll talk about...
I think they're just tired. They don't have enough energy to take over.
Astro Train, definitely.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Blitzwing later, because he does have a character arc.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. But yeah, I also find it very interesting. Motormaster mentions later on that...
the Autobots used to
had a great leader. So that confirms what you said previously.
He can't think of anything past his rivalry with Optimus Prime. Everything is judged against Optimus Prime.
Yeah. No, he does actually look up to Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
In some way.
He hates and loves Optimus Prime, just as he hates and loves himself.
I also like Frenzy trying to hype up the Decepticons later on, where he's like, I say we pulverize the Autobots! And the other guy's like, look... And this goes back to what we're saying about, like, nobody has taken over yet.
Yeah.
Is I love your enthusiasm, but we're broke.
Yeah. Between you and me, we're broke.
But yeah, Cyclonus shows up and reinvigorates sort of this, like you said, almost religious fervor for Galvatron.
There's like a mythologizing of the old sort of thing. Like this ideology that kind of worked before, but... things are totally different now. Like, I don't think that, that classic Megatron ideology would survive in this new climate of the Decepticons being on the bottom. Like,
yeah, because his whole thing was like, we're better than the Autobots, and then clearly they aren't.
Right.
So you gotta come up with something else.
Yeah, but then you also have the other side of things where the Autobots, they're in this golden age of prosperity, they're like celebrating and everything. But now it's all focused on, like, the pomp and the circumstance. Mm-hmm. It's about, like, hosting the games, all of the political connections and everything like that. And you have all of that contrasted with Rodimus Prime, who is... he is, maybe a couple months into being a Prime, and is already so done. He's so done with everything.
Well, it's because Ultra Magnus is... I really like, and we'll talk about this a lot more as the season goes on, but I really like the dynamic between Ultra Magnus and Rodimus, because Ultra Magnus is, he is trying to be a mentor to Rodimus, but he's also trying to make things the way he thinks they're supposed to be.
Exactly.
Whereas Rodimus was chosen to be the he says, "Why'd I have to be the chosen one?"
He's just whining.
Yeah, because his outlook was different.
Yeah,
he was the young and upcoming. He
never wanted to be the leader of the Autobots.
Well, that too, but because his enthusiasm and his different approach to everything is what they needed at that time.
He had
right?
the dare. He dared to believe he could survive.
Oh, I also wanted to make a clarification note for our Transformers the movie discussion.
Yeah.
I said nihilism probably 100 times. I apologize. I meant to also use the word cynicism.
Yeah.
Because,
nihilism and cynicism.
Yeah. Nihilism is hopelessness, like nothing matters, as I understand it. And as I understand, cynicism is like everything sucks.
Well, there's also like there can be positive nihilism where it's like knowing that everything will come to an end, but still finding hope within that.
There's another word for that, and now it's going to bug me that I can't think of that word.
Yeah. Nihilism by itself isn't necessarily cynicism, but a lot of the movie does deal with cynical nihilism.
Right.
So, yeah. Good clarification.
Yeah. So, Ultra Magnus is trying to be like, hey, look, we need an ordered structure thing, which they do.
Yeah, he's like, we need a military. It needs to be ordered, structured, command structures, and everything like that.
But then Rodimus is like, let's just start the games.
Yeah.
Let's get on with it.
He's just here for the vibes.
and even Warpath's like, we have an unusual leader, and Bumblebee's like, go Rodimus! Apparently he likes that.
Apparently so.
But yeah, that is something that, they need for the peacetime. But because the Decepticons rise again, and we'll talk more about Rodimus's depression as these episodes. I have some more notes on that.
But yeah, it's interesting that the Autobots kind of fall into like this authoritarian, like they feel like kind of the U.S. in the 80s, oddly enough. Just sort
maybe
of, they just sort of like throw their weight around and stuff because now they're on top. Like they're not at an energy deficit. They have all of these connections, but now they have the kind of the burden of keeping the peace, like patrolling around and doing all of this stuff to like ease tensions and all of that.
But it also, and we'll see that in a later episode as well, where the Autobots are trying to calm down tensions between two warring planets.
Yeah.
But here they are finally able to, now that their own war is over, they're finally able to reach out to other galactic entities and
try to be like galactic arbiters and peacekeepers.
They're joining the Olympics.
Yeah.
Which also, it's interesting that they're called the Olympics. Do you think that the Autobots set this up specifically to celebrate the end of the Great War, and called it the Olympics because that's what they call it on Earth? Or do you think that the Galactic Olympics somehow inspired the Earth Olympics?
Yeah,
I think this always existed and the Autobots are just now joining in, or do you think that they organized this for the first time?
Well, it feels
Did
like...
they say it was the first Olympics?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it feels like this, all of these groups and stuff have been, pre-existing entities for a while before the Autobots kind of came onto the scene.
Well, obviously. I mean, their whole alien species.
Yeah, I do love the...
They're so weird, too!
I love the Archidroids, the little, like, womp rat-looking things, the little round things on two legs. And then the narrators, the announcer being like, they're heavily favored in the downhill stretch, in the downhill racing and stuff. And one of them, like, rolls effortlessly. And it's like, well, of course they're favored in the downhill.
Also, Jazz lives!
Jazz!
Sadly...
And he's an athlete.
Yeah, sadly, I think at this point, Scatman Crothers passed away, so that's why he does not have a voice. But you'll see him here and there every. He'll
show up occasionally, but it's interesting that we have this this whole dynamic with like things being a little bit more structured and but it means that like the Autobots throughout this first episode, like they're kind of way more thuggish. In a way?
For sure. Yeah, one of my notes says Springer's got that Bayverse attitude.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they really throw their weight around and kind of like it feels very like 80s action hero sort of thing, where it's like the might makes right. I'm on the right side, so I get to like throw around the bad guys.
In their dealing with the Skutzoid and also with Blaster and Outback dealings with Abdul Fakadi.
Yeah, which also Skutzoid, Outback, Abdul Fakadi. There's so many new things and characters that are showing up. And also, is his name Skutzoid, or is species Skutzoid?
I don't know, because sometimes they call him Skutzoid, and then Cyclonus also says those miserable Skutzoids.
Yeah.
So, like, are they all called Skutzoid, or is he... Maybe they're just calling him by his species name, and he doesn't... We never get his actual name, but I think in the new comics...
In the new comics, I think his name is Skutzoid.
Yeah.
And he's, just a guy providing for his wife and kids.
Yeah.
Who left him.
Yeah, Skutzoid's an interesting character. He's kind of a bounty hunter.
He's such a
Star Wars style bounty hunter.
He feels so much like an 80s Star Wars like extended universe character. And also a D&D NPC.
Yeah. This whole, like, Season 3 feels a lot like Star Wars and Star Trek put together.
I love the pulpiness of the space setting. We already got, like, glimpses of that in Season 2.
Yeah.
But this one, like, leans really hard into it.
Yeah, because now we're in space a lot more.
Yeah, we are primarily in space.
I will have another note about where in space are we later on when we get to later episodes, but yeah.
But, we're not all on space. We also have a little bit on Earth. And
some interesting stuff.
We know about... Speaking of, like, Autobots throwing their weight around, coming in with a fake device... to find Decepticons, doing a Decepticon raid.
Yeah. Okay, so first off, I'll just I'll make a note of this. Yes, I understand how Abdul Fakadi is culturally offensive as the evil area.
Not just Abdul Fakadi.
Okay,
Abdul Fakadi, Supreme Military Commander, President for Life, and King of Kings of the Socialist Democratic Federative Republic of... Oh boy, Carbombia.
Okay, I understand how this guy is culturally offensive.
Yes.
I'm sorry. And he gets worse in other episodes, and between having him and having Casey Kasem still playing Cliffjumper, I would definitely prefer to have Casey Kasem still playing Cliffjumper.
Yes.
However, we don't get that timeline, so let's talk about what we do like here. Number one, any villain so self-absorbed as to have a never-ending title like Abdul Fakai, the Supreme Military Commander, President for Life, and King of Kings of the Socialist Democratic Federative Republic of Carbamia is an absolute winner.
It's fantastic.
That is a hilarious joke.
When he delivers it, he is... Oh, he believes every word of that.
Yeah, that is a great gag to me. Also, just the absolute, like, going back and forth. Like, how can you have a King of Kings of a democratic republic?
Yeah.
And, like, then the Socialist Federative Republic Democratic. It's hilarious.
When he was trying to figure out a type of ruling structure for his government, he just decided, like, make a salad bowl.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll take them all.
I do think that this is very interesting and probably realistic, too, that the Decepticons would go into hiding in dictator-controlled countries. I think that it has some sort of backstory to it. It lends itself to
we already see, like, the Decepticons working with surly humans and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they probably just are using a lot of their connections. Most of them probably made by Swindle. Like, I imagine Swindle had some dealings with Fakadi before all of the stuff went down in the movie. So they were just like, the Decepticons, we'll shelter you.
Yeah. So then the Autobots show up into the Middle East and throw their weight around and throw a nuclear bomb.
For your oil.
Yeah. Except in this case, they are right. He is harboring Decepticons. But I feel like these guys are they're not terrorists. They're just trying to hide.
Yeah.
The Autobots are actually, as we see in like Revenge of the Fallen, these guys are just kind of trying to hide, and the Autobots are just like, we're going to find you and we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
But in this situation, they're actually just looking for information.
Right.
And they're just capturing them to find out where Char is.
It is funny looking back at the Bayverse movies and realizing, like, no, there was founding for how aggressive the Autobots were.
Sometimes.
There was some source material founding.
Oh, I see what you said. There's
Yeah.
some real-world parallels and possibly some commentary.
Well, not just the real-world parallels or anything like that, but just that, like, well, the Autobots are, like, super aggressive and, like, will kill them all and stuff, and it's like, I mean, they were a little bit in the G1 show as well.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is definitely pre-existing material that aligns with this.
It's not just the movies, but it is a little rough seeing, I'm gonna kill them all.
Right. But, so the Autobots are trying to track down Char. Meanwhile, it's interesting watching Cyclonus and Scourge sneak into Unicron's head to get more footage from the movie. To find out where Galvatron has landed, which is the planet Thrall, which is around the red giant Hydran.
Interesting.
Very far away.
And,
so that one's definitely... Okay, so this is going to be really funny compared to something that I'm going to say in a later episode, but Galvatron fell a really long way.
Yes.
And Scourge can apparently just see that far? Is this some sort of, like, scrying power? I'm going to check the tome.
The tome.
Transformers Universe, which is the character profiles from the Marvel Comics from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to read... So that's what I figured they were probably basing some of this stuff off of. If I can find S.
S marks the spot.
Alright, Scourge, Sweep Leader. Desolation follows in my trail. Abilities. Scourge is possessed of scanning and locating equipment which can detect machine or human presence even if it is as small as any amoeba in the ocean or wind-up toy in the Sahara Desert. And he is merciless and capable of using such weapons as acid rays, which dissolve his targets, laser blasters, disintegrator beams, and assorted demolition and fusion devices in eliminating his prey. He can transform into a scouring vehicle, a marauding automotive mode which handles any terrain and scans for survivors, in quotations marks. His weakness is his arrogance. So interesting that it's called an automotive mode.
Yeah.
But they always use it as some sort of jet.
So he can actually see that far, but it's more like a radar scan than anything else.
I was guessing that it was probably like, you know how in Universe they're always like, so-and-so can shoot up to 200 miles and hit the head of a pin.
Yeah. There is a lot of exaggeration with those bios and their abilities.
Scourge can see for 2 light years. But I
believe it.
I guess he just had to know which direction
Maybe it's
to
that
look.
thing that's on the top of his head.
Yep.
Anyway. He's got like bat wings, so maybe it's like sonar sort of thing. Feels right.
Yeah.
I also like that they go into Unicron's head because that's where his brain was, and his brain had like all of the TVs and stuff that we're able to see super duper far. So I always thought that it was like, oh, we can see it because we're using the equipment that was in Unicron's head.
Yeah.
But yes, they find out that he's way over on Thrall.
Also, Springer. I find it funny that Springer just lets the Scuttzoid go as soon as he gets the information that he wants to hear instead of finding out the truth.
Yeah. Again, throwing his weight around.
Right.
The Springer RC combo in these couple of episodes is pretty fun, but
I like Springer and RC together. Yeah. They have really good banter.
They have a Han Solo Princess Leia dynamic, which is 100% what they were going for. So
and I like how much dynamic range RC has, you know, where she can be either mentoring or action-oriented and capable warrior, but also can be, you know, kinder sometimes.
Yeah, I think there's a good balance.
Although she also just steals people's ships.
That's true. I think, like, a good balance of her characterization was in, like, the recent Energon Comics run and Transformers Prime as well. Those, I think... A lot of times she can just kind of get reduced to, oh, she's the girl Transformer and stuff. But like, there is a lot of personality that she has.
Yep.
But
one last thing I want to note is that when Cyclonus says scrap like slargs, I always thought that he was referring to some sort of creature, but apparently according to TF Wiki, they show up. They are usually just mentioned, But in the Transformers cartoon, Beast Wars Uprising, and the 2019 IDW continuity, Beast Wars Uprising, Nucleon mentioned them as hunting them. He thought that they would get hunted down like a Slarg would get hunted down. But in the IDW continuity, Slargs were known for their violent tendencies, but by the time the tether had fallen, they were extinct. So it could be a creature.
IDW was the only one where it's referred to as an actual thing.
Yeah, but the it sounds like they were like a people group almost, like beings instead. Well,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
it's interesting.
It's definitely totally not just a throwaway line.
Yeah. Anyway.
For sure.
All right. And with that, we'll take a short break. And we're back with 5 Phases of Darkness Part 2. Springer and RC rescue Rodimus and Grimlock from the Decepticon horde, and Rodimus has a Matrix-induced vision that leads them to Quintessa, where they rescue Cup, Spike, and Ultra Magnus and the Quintesson Deliberata from their execution. The other Quintessons blow up the planet to try and kill them, but the aerial bots rescue them. Also, Cyclonus finds Galvatron, who has gone insane.
Okay. The start of this episode, like the last episode ends with Rodimus and Grimlock going to investigate the Decepticons on Char.
Which, by the way,
getting discovered and getting rushed by all of the energy-deprived Decepticons. This one starts with them just getting the absolute snot beaten out of them. Like they just get bum rushed by the Decepticon.
I don't understand why Rodimus yells "Cowards!" because I think that's more impressive that they just walk up and start hitting them.
Yeah.
Since they can't shoot them
Most
anymore.
of the Decepticons would have just left
right.
the first shot that they took, but no, they just decide, all right, we're gonna just beat the ever-loving snot out of these two guys.
Also, Grimlock makes some of the funniest noises in this episode. Because when Rodimus and Grimlock notice the Decepticons being, poor and destitute, Rodimus is like, I feel sorry for them. And Grimlock's like, I don't feel sorry. Hit me, Grimlock, laugh! And then he gets this hilarious,
it's like barking like a dog.
laugh. And then the Rockeroid comes in, that's Springer and RC stole, like an asteroid, scares all the Decepticons away, and Grimlock just gives this
but like puts this little T-Rex arms over his eyes, and he's just like
and then later on when Rodimus dies, Grimlock goes, no! Arf!
He's like a dog in these episodes.
Arf. It's so funny.
It's great.
Oh, no, my goodness.
The 5-parter in total, like, has some of the best line deliveries.
I didn't realize...
It's so funny. This is such a funny couple of episodes.
Yeah, like we said, RC and Springer have good banter. I didn't realize that, like, maybe a good 30% of my Transformer quotes that I quote on a daily basis come from these episodes.
Yes. I didn't realize it either. It's like stuff that I just took for granted. I'm like, yeah, this was scattered all over throughout Transformers. It's like, no, most of them came from this 5-parter.
Yeah. Especially the first 2 episodes.
Which is funny, because I used to hate this 5-parter.
I know. Hey, let's talk about that for a second. Or do you want to save that for the end?
We'll save it for the end.
Okay.
We'll save it for the end.
All right. Oh, something really important I want to notice in this episode is the return of Rainbow Energon!
Colonium crystals!
No, but like seriously, remember back in season 1 and then just slightly at the beginning of season 2, they would make these rainbow-colored energons and then compress them into mattresses.
The energy mattresses.
Now and then it was replaced by purple energon.
Yeah.
And it was just always purple energon. Well, now we get some rainbow-colored energon cubes.
Cool.
I was fascinated by that.
It's back.
And how did
you get the rainbow energon.
Yeah.
The rainbow energon is back. And okay. It's something about Cyclonus saying, getting all of the energon stores together and soliciting energy donations and going, give my Decepticons, give, like that. I was like, oh man, he's a televangelist preacher. With your humble donation, you can help with the Decepticon cause.
But I do like how, like, in the throes of the Decepticons complaining, they come back with the news that Galvatron lives.
Yeah,
and he's trying to get them hyped up to.
And I
guess they need the donation to make the trip to Thrall because it is super far away. I mean, Char might be closer than Cybertron is.
Yeah,
but I think it is.
It also seems like Char doesn't really have a lot going for it as far as like energy and stuff.
Yeah,
like
I think it is pretty much a dead.
Thrall
world.
is like magma and everything, so that's probably got like ways to make energon. But Char just seems like it's just completely barren.
Yeah, yeah. Although something was at one time built there, because there's a lot of ruins on that planet.
Mm-hmm.
I had another note on Char. Oh, does Char have a moon base, or is in the first shot I thought it was Cybertron was going overhead and Char was right below them, but that doesn't make sense with later on when they don't know where it is and they get the information and Rodimus says, "I thought it was a smudge on the screen on the map." But
wait, there it is.
It is well enough known to be put on a map, but the name to me always sounds like Charn from the first book of Narnia.
Yes.
The Magician's Nephew.
But it's literally just Char with two
R's. Which was also
a
dead world, so I wonder if it's some sort of reference.
Maybe. I don't know. There's not a red sun or anything, so...
Yeah, it is just a charred planet.
Yeah. But, with Cyclonus...
They can't make hydroelectric power.
Like, face it, we're doomed. We can't rob a dam of anything.
Alright, anyway, Cyclonus.
But yeah, Cyclonus and the sweeps are... I feel like they're a really interesting commentary on, like, fanaticism and mythologizing and resurrecting dead ideologies to suit the times. Mm-hmm. And them, like... It also brings into question, like, how much of their past lives as the Insecticons and Thundercracker and Skywarp do they remember? Are they just completely blank slates? It kind of feels like they're blank slates, because if that's the case, it makes sense why they're so adamant about Galvatron coming back, is because they're like, that's all that they know.
Well, they were created to serve Galvatron.
Exactly. And, but yeah, it feels like, parallels a lot of like real world regimes that would kind of puppeteer old ideologies and stuff and like reinvigorate them to get people like energized about it. And the parallels are pretty on the nose. That Decepticon salute's looking a little different. A little too familiar.
It used to be a reverse Sasagio from Attack on Titan.
Yes.
Now with the heart on the or the fist on the chest, and now it's just a left-handed Nazi salute.
Yeah. But it feels kind of accurate too.
Yeah.
The Nazi Party had a lot of ideologies that were just cannibalized from old things and repackaged. Yeah. So
Tolkien wrote several angry letters about that.
Yes.
He hated them.
Oh yeah.
It was great.
But it's also really great that they go and find Galvatron, this person that they're like, well, if we just get Galvatron, it'll fix all of our problems. He just makes their problems worse.
I love that. How do you feel about Galvatron being psychotic?
Okay, so obviously, like, I'm kind of in agreement with Jonah on Galvatron in the movie. I think he's fine. I don't think he really has a ton going for him. He's more of just a physical presence.
Yeah, as a threat. Yes. I think that he is... What he needs to do in the movie, I think he is good for.
Yes, I think
continuing on into the cartoon series, he is not nearly as dynamic as Megatron.
Yes, but Megatron just had so much more powerful of a presence. Yeah, Galvatron is just kind of like riding off of that, like by proxy. This one, I think, really, really cements his characterization as something distinct.
Yes,
because he's insane.
Yeah.
And the fact that he is way more of like, he feels more like the Joker. Yeah. He is an agent of chaos, and he purely exists for chaos.
He's the overcorrection to Galvatron being dull. Now he's too insane.
Yes, I like that Megatron's characterization is all about power, and might makes right.
He's the classic scheming villain.
Yes, he's very scheming villain, self-assured in that, and very confident in himself. Galvatron is purely existing in the present. He does not think ahead. He only exists for chaos and disruption as of right now, and asserting himself over anybody who gets in his way.
Yeah.
It does not matter if it is Decepticon, Autobot, Quintesson, whatever. And the thing is that with his Galvatron body, which is assumed to be more powerful than Megatron,
Yeah.
I also think that they kind of imply that him being in the magma also increases his abilities.
Well, he says it does.
Yes. His plasma bath.
yeah, his plasma bath. The way I do his voice, it sounds like Skeletor, but
I mean, he kind of sounds Skeletor.
It is. Frank Welker is back.
Yes.
And I think that's very interesting, and I think that which kind of gives a little bit of credence to something we didn't discuss very much last time. I want to touch on. Also the mythology of Megatron Galvatron, who knows that he isn't. Astrotrain, of course, being the genius that he is, knows that they're the same guy. How does he know, though?
Exactly.
No, that's right. He was standing next to Starscream when he says, Megatron, is that you?
That's true.
Yep.
Exactly.
And as we know, that he is smart
He's
enough
probably
to take
one
over
of the few.
yeah. So Astrotrain knows that they're the same guy.
Yeah.
Which it makes it more interesting when he returns. I wonder what Astrotrain thinks about, like, oh man, our leader has really fallen.
Yeah. Something I haven't thought about until now as well.
But who else knows? Like, because Cyclonus is, like you said, wrapped up in his own mythology, his own ideology.
Even like Galvatron himself, at this point, being having all of his circuits scrambled and stuff, he might not even remember that he was Megatron.
Yeah.
Or he just knows that like I used to be this guy, but I've got no memory of him, so it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
But like something I haven't even thought of until just now is that.
Because he's not like a bipolar sort of thing where he's
he does. Yeah. He's got one-minded reasoning.
Yeah.
But it's so locked into this idea of being an agent of like cosmic chaos.
Yeah.
And I think where that comes from for him is that he was created by Unicron. He was completely reshaped by Unicron. This cosmic entity of consuming hunger and destruction.
Yeah.
Now, Unicron is no more.
Yeah.
So I think subconsciously he's just kind of operating off of the same logic of like, well, I have to be an agent of chaos for some sort of cosmic force.
Yeah.
And he just elects himself as an agent for the cosmic concept of destruction.
Yeah, this is why he becomes the Emperor of Destruction.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which I don't think is a title that's officially given to him until Headmasters.
Yeah.
But still, it makes sense.
Because he's like waxing philosophical about like his kingdom of desolation, the symphony of destruction.
I wrote it down. It's one of my quotes.
And he's like very, almost this like kind of religious iconography and stuff is what he's like preaching and stuff about himself.
Apocalyptic.
Yes, he's like very much. He feels like an agent of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
In how he's positioning himself, which feels kind of in line with like Cyclonus and the others, like mythologizing of him. It's just in a complete opposite direction to what they want him to be.
Yes. Yeah. So the first time that I watched the episode, I thought, oh, that sucks, because when I was a little kid, I thought Galvatron was cool.
Yeah.
I thought he was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I got the full season, I watched it. I was a little bit older, and I guess it was around the same time. I started to go through this phase where it's like I thought crazy characters were the bee's knees for some reason. I was just like, these guys are great. I love just the insane characters. Yeah. I don't know what it was.
The clinically insane character.
I guess I was just at that age where I could actually enjoy Deadpool.
Yeah, that's right.
But then coming back to it, whenever the audio mixing is bad, I just feel like everybody's yelling. There's a point in season 2 where it just feels like everybody's yelling all the time. And then having Galvatron, who is a character based around yelling, I was like really kind of annoyed with him. But as a story element, I really like Insane Galvatron.
Yes, he's a chaotic space gremlin.
Yes, yeah.
But it's so weird how it's like it's a role reversal of like you have the classic trio of Megatron, Starscream, Soundwave. Yes. Megatron being the powerful, confident leader, the cunning and powerful bully. Starscream is the treacherous coward, and Soundwave is the loyal straight man.
Yes.
In this one, Galvatron is the chaotic space gremlin. Cyclonus is the loyal, who's normally like the Starscream second in command position. Cyclonus is the loyal straight man, with just more zealotry involved. And Scourge is a treacherous coward.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. Also, I love how Cyclonus starts out as like this, zealous, loyal person, and then he just becomes a babysitter.
Yes, yeah. We'll definitely talk about that later on more as the show goes on, but it's such an interesting dynamic.
Yes.
It's such a weird direction to take a toy commercial in.
Yes.
I'm here for it, though.
To sell toys. Make them insane.
But speaking of character dynamics, I think this is the first sense we get of Rodimus's guilt complex, because
oh yes,
like he has taken way worse beatings before and come out on top, but
he just gets punched.
But as he gets beat up a little bit, he's just like, I'm dying.
It's like, oh no, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I must pass the Matrix on. This is definitely what I need to do right now.
But Grimlock is a genius to guess that Rodimus is okay because the Matrix didn't appear.
That is true. Yeah.
And then he's a complete doofus, or as Rodimus calls him, a bozology.
A bozology.
Love that term. When he asks if Ultra Magnus and company are inside the Matrix, inside of Rodimus.
Yes.
But yeah, we get the freaky Matrix dream.
Oh boy, somebody on the team just watched the scene in 2001: A Space Odyssey where they go into hyperspace, and they thought, you know what this needs? More explosions.
So
every single thing in this thing just completely explodes.
Also, I love the big just math.
Yes, just 3%, 4, 5.
And then there's the creepy ancient thing called It. And it turns into...
What the heck is It?
So it blows up and turns into a ghost and smashes through other old robots, which may be ancient Cybertronians. However, they look kind of similar to this thing in... what's it called? Call of the Primitives.
Yes.
Primacron's assistant, which when it's destroyed, shows the Matrix rising out of it.
Yes.
So it could be that It is either the first known bearer of the Matrix, because later on he does show up in the Matrix.
Right.
It does show up in the Matrix.
It's yakking to Optimus Prime.
Right. But it could be that that's the stripped down form of Primacron's assistant,
right,
which may or may not be the Matrix. So that may be the
may or
soul
may
of
not
the
be
Matrix.
Prima.
No, Prima is named as somebody else, and I'll get to that when we get to episode 4.
That's right. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
They're all named on TF Wiki.
Yes.
Yeah, because here we don't have the original 13, or at least as far
I will give this whole vision props. It's inventive. But yeah, this is some surreal imagery.
Yeah, it really is. The Rodimus's face changing to different characters, which I'll touch on when we get to episode 4 also. But I'm thinking the ghost of It smashing through the other creatures is indicative of the Matrix collecting different memories and spirits of former leaders.
Yeah, we do learn kind of what the true purpose of the Matrix is in this 5-parter, but Anyway.
Something I forgot to mention is Galvatron destroys Thrall.
This is
he shoots it and it blows up, which
this
you could
is
say it's
the first of many cosmic entities celestial bodies that Galvatron just decides to destroy for no reason.
Yeah. Now, you could say that it's a chemical reaction because of the plasma blast. He ignites the plasma blast.
Right.
However, he also shot them earlier, and it didn't blow up the planet.
Exactly.
So, and I don't know how big Thrall actually is, if it's a planetoid or just an asteroid or something.
It looks like a planetoid of some
suggests that it's a planet surrounding a... Anyway. Yeah. But keep track of that, audience. Galvatron destroys celestial objects. This will come back to be very funny.
Part 1 in a multi-part series.
Yeah. Also, the mystery is dropped. We didn't really talk about it much, but there's sort of a mystery element to who stole the Autobots. Who stole the Autobots? Ultra Magnus Cup and Spike. Which I feel like Carly and Daniel should have had a bigger part in trying to find Spike. But
especially with Daniel playing such a big part in the whole season and then also the movie. Like, it feels more. But I do like that this gives Spike a good chance to shine. Yeah. He feels very 80s macho, like Bruce Willis type character in this.
But the mystery, that wasn't much of a mystery because you could pretty easily figure it out.
Who else has 5 faces of darkness?
The Quintessons. We are on Quintessa.
Yes. Very cool.
Although they do kind of not show their faces for a little while in here.
Yeah, they try to keep it like mysterious, but it's like, who else looks like an egg?
Now, this was probably a business thing, but I wonder why ACOM didn't just reuse the glorious backgrounds from the movie when doing scenes on Quintessa.
It's most likely that it was like different, they didn't have the rights to it or something like that's property of Toei.
But it looks so silly that it's like you're using the same background but just drawn badly.
Drawn badly, yeah.
I
do like that it's not exactly the same like courtroom or anything like that we see in the movie. Like that got overrun. Like that area of Quintessa got overrun by a Sharkticon uprising.
Yeah.
This is a totally different zone of Quintessa.
And it functions differently because it's kind of vague in this episode and the next episode if their chairs move down to watch them in the pool of
I thought it was just a TV,
or if they just have a TV of them watching them. It's just so that Spike can talk about it. But let's talk to them. There's also an animal statue on Quintessa. I found that very interesting.
Some sort of floor. Well, we already saw that they have a lot of animal life on Quintessa, mostly aquatic, but yeah.
Now let's talk about one of my favorite twists in this whole 5-part.
Yes.
The Autobots, when they're trying to break out and get away, they take a judge hostage that was walking with them because you think that the judge is just walking them to the courtroom to have them tried.
Escorting them to get executed.
Mm-hmm. The great twist is that he was also going to be executed. Yeah. I love that. They took the doomed guy hostage, and he's just chill with it.
I love... See, I never caught that he was, like, also on his way to get executed. Yeah. I always thought that he was actually escorting them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then when they took him hostage, and they're like, I'm going to shoot your buddy in the back of the head if you don't let us go. And they're like... Oh, him?
No, he calls it bluey juice.
Or bluey juice.
Yeah, turn him into bluey juice.
But, like, that's just the nature of the Quintessons, is that they're like, even though this guy was a valued judge and stuff, that's just the way that we do things, is that, like, it's advantageous that you're expendable now. And then he's like, yeah, that's valid. Well, I would do the same thing in your position.
also because he failed to, he got captured, right? But here's my theory.
You shouldn't have gotten captured, buddy.
Yeah. Here's my theory, is that he was going to be judged and executed in a trial concerning the events of the movie.
Oh, I think he could have been the guy.
He was the judge that was presiding over Cup and Hot Rod, even though he has a totally different voice in this.
Yeah.
I just chalked that up to it being,
it's ACOM.
This whole slew of episodes has so many audio problems. We'll talk about more in part 3. But I think that this was the judge in the movie.
That makes sense
because he lost control of the Sharkticons.
He's getting judged.
That's why he's being executed.
Which, we see him flee with a retinue of bodyguards as the Sharkticons are climbing the wall. So we never actually see what happens to him.
Right.
It's very likely that was Deliberata.
Yeah. Also, his name is Judge Deliberata, as in deliberation, deliberate. Yep. I think that's hilarious.
It's
and
great.
Perfect for a Quintesson. It totally fits into Transformers naming convention.
Yes, like, you think of Junkions, like the only other ones that we get named are like Detritus and stuff. Yeah. Like, it's very on the nose.
It is perfect.
Transformers is not a show about subtlety.
No.
But yeah, I love the ruthlessness. It, like, the Autobots breaking out. It's a good plan.
Yeah.
It's very, like, desperate times call for desperate measures. I don't think the Autobots of Season 1 would do this sort of maneuver.
Yeah.
I think the Autobots of Season 3 definitely would.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that it's, like, it almost works,
yeah,
but it's just great characterization on the Quintessons that, like, oh, this is the type of people that we're up against. They are willing to not only just execute one of their own,
oh, they have a great line in the next episode I'm going to bring up.
They're willing to nuke their own planet on the slight 0.5% chance that it might destroy the matrix of leadership.
What kind of plane was that? This brings me to something that I'll bring up later, is I don't think Quintessa is their home planet.
Ah, is it like a construct of some kind?
Yes.
Like a terraformed world? That would make sense. Yeah. It makes sense also with like the ring structure around it being some sort of like space station that was integrated into the planet of some kind.
Yeah, I'll talk about that more when we get to episode 4 also.
Yeah.
But I think that's why they're so chill with blowing it up.
Yeah.
And so quick to do it.
But even like the one guy's like, I will miss Quintessa, but this is very necessary. And it's like, slow down, hold up, you're gonna nuke the planet.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the animation is really bad here because, like, there is no suspense that the Autobots aren't going to make it out.
Yeah, it's like, can they make it? And they leave.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going for some sort of artistic thing where they take off and Quintessa's already in the background.
Yeah.
But Transformers doesn't usually operate like that, so I don't think that their film language supports that. I think that's just an animation error.
Scale.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, they're... At the end of this episode, now in the beginning of the next episode, they do a better job of trying to.
We get a better sense of place and scale.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway. So
this one though, I do love that it's like. This is
why were they blowing up? It's because Hot Rod and gang came to rescue Cup and Hot.
There was a slim, small 1% chance that they could blow up the Matrix of Leadership.
Right.
But I love that like. This is kind of a reintroduction to the Quintessons.
Yes. Where
in the movie it feels more like a Dungeons and Dragons like random encounter. We wound up like traveling from one campaign point to another campaign point. We wound up doing this like one-shot adventure on Quintessa. Sort of thing. And it's only like a snapshot. We get a good idea of how everything works there, but it's not in depth. We don't have a lot of characterization of the Quintessons themselves. Yeah. This gives us
what we need to
We get what we need for the movie. Mm-hmm. This one gives us like the overarching like what is their deal?
Yeah. They've been promoted to the main villains.
Yes, they are bitter. This is like Lex Luthor levels of petty.
Yes.
Where it
becomes president just to mess with Superman.
Yes, it is. They hold a grudge.
Yeah.
And they do not let go of that grudge for the rest of time.
Millions of years.
Yes. And this is the kind of bitter that we need to see more of in their characterizations in future installments and stuff. Is them being, one, this ancient precursor sort of race that is so bitter that they're willing to nuke a planet on the off chance it might do some damage to their enemies. But them having like infinite resources, infinite like willpower to just full send it. Like they will blow themselves up to get an advantage. Like
whatever advantage they can take, they will take it without a second thought.
And because them also
not because they don't think ahead, but because they know that whatever, if on the off chance that this fails, which of course it does, they know that they can recoup their losses very quickly.
And they're also like, they should feel very Illuminati, like working in the background, very like scheming, treacherous, backstabbing, and infinite resources to the point where they can nuke a planet and still be okay. Like, it's great setup for the rest of this, but yeah. Anyway, anything else?
In the Netflix series, they're just basically like traders and pirates.
Yeah, I like
one episode.
I like Transformers 1's approach to where they're
I like that
unknowable, ancient, and bizarre like taxation people.
The more eldritch you make them, the better.
Yes,
Transformers 1 did great with the Quintessons. I like that. With that, let's take a short break. And we're back with Five Faces of Darkness Part 3.
Rodimus and gang escape the
I was hoping that the and gang instead of 90 names would be easier for you to read. You still
I just stumbled on destruction instead. Rodimus and gang.
Best professional audiobook narrator right here, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, he can't read. Rodimus and gang escape the destruction of Quintessa, but crash on goo number 8739B, where Springer is destroyed by a garbage truck. You heard it here, folks, ladies and gentlemen. The Quintessons recruit the Decepticons on Char and attack the Autobots on Goo. Meanwhile, Blur and Wheelie are shot down by Galvatron and stranded on the moon Io.
I think it's funny that we didn't see anything from Blur and Wheelie for the whole second episode.
Yeah, they're introduced as, like, get the T-Cog to Metroplex on Earth.
They're the B plot, but the A plot has so many B plots that, like, why?
This five-parter ping-pongs all over the place.
It's so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll talk about it later. I like the B plot, but I also don't like the B plot.
Yeah. It's alright.
Anyway, alright, so, but speaking of the A plot, I guess that wasn't... Okay, when the aerial bots came to rescue Rodimus and Ultra Magnus and Springer and everybody from Quintessa, they're flying this ship that looks like the jet mode of Broadside.
Yeah.
But I don't think that is Broadside, because he gets destroyed by some shrapnel from the destruction of Quintessa.
I think he's a little tougher than that.
Now, here's something interesting. The shrapnel looks just like, or at least similar enough to, I mean, you never can tell with ACOM animation.
Yeah.
It looks similar to the Quintesson Journal that comes up in the episode of the Quintesson Journal later on. But yeah, I wonder if this is when in our headcanon, we can say this is when the Quintesson Journal gets launched into space.
Yeah.
Anyway, and apparently it destroys and kills Broadside before Broadside even shows up as an actual character. Which, interestingly, the first time that his jet mode shows up as a character is as a Decepticon, and then, like, every other appearance he's an Autobot. And I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's confusing.
Yeah. But we'll get to that next time.
Yeah.
This time,
we get human advancement.
Yes, I don't think because of what Galvatron says, I don't think the humans had space platforms until after the movie, because Galvatron has been to Earth, so he would have seen the space platforms previously.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if the EDC, the Earth Defense Command, is that correct?
Earth Defense Command, yeah.
Was also formed after, it's like Space G.I. Joe.
Basically.
Was also formed after the movie, but it's only like 1 year later, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's 2006.
There's a lot of infrastructure through the solar system that the Autobots were able to achieve. See how much the Autobots can achieve when the Decepticons aren't always having to be stopped?
Space Olympics.
Yeah, so some very obvious working together between the humans and the Autobots. If they've advanced that much in 1 year.
Yeah, we get, like, there's a Mars outpost, there's the EDC space station, and all of that is kind of, like, coalesced into Marissa Fairborn as a character.
Yeah.
Who I think is a really cool human character.
I'll go. I don't have a whole lot to say. My note on her is in the next episode, but I'll go ahead and talk about her now. Is that, I think that she is... Let me find my note. I like Marissa Fairborn because she is generally competent and very productive.
Yes.
It's not her fault that she had to rescue some idiots.
Yeah.
And yes, she is related to the character from G.I. Joe.
Yes.
That is even shown in a later episode.
G.I. Joe lineage is strong and ready.
Yep. I also like that they have Cowboy Bebop style, well, not like aesthetically styled, but similar to Cowboy Bebop, they have really giant space bridges you can fly entire spaceships through now, set up throughout which is referenced in Transformers Animated.
Yes, the structure of the space bridge is pretty similar.
Yeah, it's like this big fork on an asteroid with a
like a big tuning fork.
Yeah, with the space bridge portal just on.
Yeah.
And they're set up all over the place, I guess, because the Decepticons just fly through it.
Right.
Space bridge technology definitely advanced, which could explain some of the spatial stuff, which I will touch on again later, with the movie as to, like, where is everything?
Yeah.
But, so... I love this is where Galvatron, on his way back from Thrall to Char, takes a detour all the way to the Earth solar system to attack Blur and Wheelie and the human space station, which is on near Jupiter, I guess. But I really like the directing of the whoever did the
whoever was the animation director, I really like that they've got Galvatron in the monitor, which somehow Blur doesn't notice for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But that he shoots in one direction on the monitor, and then it blows up the corner of the screen
Yes.
in their ship. I think that was really cool.
Yeah.
I love little things
like
that.
that.
That's like when Crimzy jumps through the camera and then pops out of the screen.
Right.
Yeah. I like stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
as a director.
And this whole like chase sequence with Galvatron going after Blur and Wheelie because he can.
Yeah.
And this is like the first time that the Cyclonus and Scourge are kind of like, we might not have. This might not be what we think it's gonna be.
We might have made a mistake.
Yeah. And them like kind of gradually getting picked off, like getting shot, and then like Galvatron save me, and then he's like, nah.
You have failed.
Yeah.
So did Wheelie kill that sweep?
Probably.
He goes from shooting these all annoying but almost useless little pebbles from a slingshot to just straight up murking a sweep in the
power
face.
of friendship in this gun I found.
Right?
Yeah, no, Blur and Wheelie as a combo, like, I kind of like their dynamic together. They're just two quirky, weird Autobots interacting. They both have a shtick.
Yeah.
One talks really, really fast and is panicky and kind of like, catastrophizes everything. Yeah. Whereas Wheelie is, everything rhymes, everything's squeaky, and but he's also like generally optimistic and stuff. So it kind of makes for a good like R2C3PO sort of dynamic. Yeah. But oh boy, it's fun, but it's very grating, very hard to listen to because of the vocalization that they use, like the vocoder.
There's a new vocoder on them. They sound more like echoey than they used to, or reverb. There's a lot of reverb in their voices than they used to.
It also like will pop in and out, so you'll hear their unvocoded voice, and it's like woo like that. And
also in this episode, Frank Welker usually does Wheelie's voice, but in this episode, for some reason, there are temp actors just thrown in randomly.
I was gonna say, when the vocoder disappears, it sounds nothing at all like Frank Welker.
Yeah, no, it's not, because it's not.
Yeah.
And then also the audio mixing is really bad in this episode, and in several others, where like things are layered weird, and it's just...
I kind of walked away from this episode with tinnitus. It was just like the ringing, like...
Like, I like fast-talking Blur. I like ramming Wheelie, at least in the movie,
Yeah.
Together,
it hurts. No, it's a fun dynamic. It just hurts to watch it on screen.
Yeah. Also, it's weird because Blur was generally optimistic in the movie, but here, I guess maybe he was traumatized by Unicron.
Yeah. Something like that. Or they just kind of realized he doesn't have a super distinct personality among the whole cast other than his shtick.
Yeah.
So they just needed to give him something.
Blur does go inside Unicron, doesn't he?
Yes, he's there.
Yeah, because he's with Springer and RC.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, but the whole chase sequence building up to Galvatron imploding the red storm spot.
Are they in the red spot on Jupiter?
I think they are.
Because they say that it's a storm on Jupiter.
Yeah.
And I used to think that it was like a space storm, but I didn't realize that they actually went into Jupiter's atmosphere and then got launched out of a storm on Jupiter onto its moon Io.
Yeah, no,
but yeah,
this leads to like I think my favorite scene of Galvatron, where it's like I think this should be like kind of the template for how you characterize Galvatron as a person.
Also Wheelie's like whoa.
Whoa. It's like okay,
there's some third.
I don't know what's supposed to be going on here, but it's fine.
But yeah, characterizing Galvatron as a person.
Yes, is his speech about the symphony of destruction, the anthem of agony, and stuff like that. Like him just being in the middle of an eye of the storm that he created, just because he could, and just waxing philosophical about like yes. More of this, please. I need more of this in Galvatron characterization.
Right. Yes. So that is celestial body number 2 that he has destroyed. Is
Kill count number 2.
Some sort of storm on Jupiter, possibly the red spot.
Yes. I think Galvatron's characterization should be described in the Valor versus Venom straight to DVD G.I. Joe thing, where Mindbender says about Overkill, "Overkill's gone mad!" And then Cobra Commander responds, "Well, at least he isn't boring."
Yes. Yeah. So I've come back around again on liking Crazy Galvatron.
Yes.
He was like, I didn't like him, then I liked him, then I didn't like him, then I liked him again. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so speaking of celestial bodies, the Autobots land on Goo, and Goo reminds me of something that would be in the TV show Star Wars Droids.
Yes. Just a weird space thing.
But I like the lore that it presents of Goo being a planet that collects junk, and then the machines harvest the junk, deliver it to the Junkions' larger garbage scows,
planet,
and then they fly it to the planet of junk. And
I like that this builds out the
planet.
intergalactic waste system.
Yes, yeah. They are the waste management.
Which that makes so much sense for it to, one, it's not a planet. It's just a long string of gum.
Yeah.
That just sticks and collects stuff.
I like that world building.
It's kind of pretty smart for space world building and stuff.
Yeah. Of course,
and then for it to coalesce into giant.
In actual space is so big that I mean, of course, this thing is miles and miles long.
Yeah.
This is probably as long as a planet is wide.
The galactic tapeworm.
Yeah, it looks kind of nasty.
Yeah.
But actually, with that little metal ring that goes along the side, it kind of reminds me of the bio lizard from Sonic Adventure.
Yes. Oh man, that's the exact same color palette.
Because it's orange.
It's got
long
the little
wormy,
tech thing on the side.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway, in actual space is so big that the chances of the junk in space hitting that are minute,
astronomically low.
But if you actually put it near a planet, then it would pick up a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that Goo, in theory, is a really cool idea for a space station that orbits a planet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
because it's got these two little orbs at either end.
Yeah.
Little
nodules.
So I like the world building of Goo.
Yeah,
but
Goo
in real
is
life,
very fascinating.
Yeah.
It's also very strange because in this episode, they land on it with Deliberata, the Quintesson judge, and then Cup finds just the death mask and then tosses him back into the goo.
Yeah, it's like one of his faces fell off.
One of his faces fell off, and I don't think we see. No, next episode, he's
dragging
fine.
it by tentacles. He's dragging the whole thing by tentacles in either this episode or next episode.
Next episode, we do see that the death mask is back on and he's fine. But at first, I just thought, did he just lose one of his faces?
Yeah. We see Rodimus's first, I'm gonna say, I like that Springer, when the junk scow or the garbage truck is coming towards him, he goes for the optimistic approach and is like, well, maybe it's trying to help me out or something like that. And everybody else is like, no, don't do it.
He's like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Proceeds to get turned into a cube.
Yeah, dies.
Yep.
But I think that shouldn't the detecting movement on the garbage truck program it to avoid moving things? It should be oh, that must be still alive. I should not suck that up and grind it to pieces.
If it's immobile, then it would make more sense.
I also think it's interesting that Springer got disassembled and then put back together by Junkions, just like Ultra Magnus did in the movie.
Yeah.
This movie is this sequel is one of those sequels that repeats a lot of things that were in the first movie, unfortunately.
I do love the Rodimus's reaction to Springer's quote-unquote death at the hands of the goo sweeper. They build it up to where it's Springer, no, get out of the way, no! And everyone's, the music's dun 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 dun. Mm-hmm. Rodimus's reaction just being gross.
Yep.
But I do like his ingenuity with this thing where, everyone's like, get out of there and stuff. And then he does this kind of reckless on paper maneuver of putting himself in harm's way so that he can get close to it and disable it with its own goo. That's smart. it's very funny, though, that Cup is like, oh my gosh, I've seen so many primes over the ages do crazy stuff, but this is the most courageous that I've ever seen. And it's like...
He watched Hot Rod run into Unicron's eye last year.
It's like, okay, the glazing is wild on this.
Maybe he really is Teaspoon and the chief dishwasher. But yeah, we see Rodimus' self-sacrificing leadership and casualness about it, too. Because, like, when he's floating... Like, last episode, we saw a little bit of his guilt complex at, having let Optimus die and, being part of Optimus's death in a way. And then, having to... the pressures of leadership, having to lead the Autobots through all that and whatnot. And then here we see a little bit of his leadership style in that when he's floating through space, he can't do anything about it. So he just goes with it. He's like, well, just enjoy the ride until we hit something. And then when he can do something, he doesn't send anyone else to do it if he can do it himself.
Yeah,
I do like that. Else in harm's way. And he's like, well, I can't get out of the goo, so I'm just going to see if I can find... Which is exactly the type of leadership he exhibited in the movie is, I'm going to find a solution to this. I'm not just going to keep having us run away.
Yeah.
I'm going to fix this.
Yeah. He may not have a plan right off the bat, but he's an improviser. Like, he will charge headlong into the danger.
Like in episode 1, and then Cup's like, I was like that until I got blown apart a few times.
Yeah. But I like that, it's kind of... His recklessness is present in also, like, his depression and stuff, to where he's so reckless that we'll see it a little bit later on, that he is reckless enough to where, like, my life literally does not matter.
Yeah.
And I think it's motivated by the fact that, like, the Autobots are in such a good place right now that he's like, they don't need me. Like, they'll be fine without me. I'm kind of superfluous as a leader.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Like, just have a laissez-faire attitude about it. Like, relax, enjoy the ride. Like, y'all don't need me, sort of thing. When actually, like...
Well, I think in this situation, it's just the way he deals with things. Is like, if I can't control it, then I'm not going to stress about it.
Yeah.
If I can control it, I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah. If I can't do something about it, I'm going to stress about it.
But definitely in scenes where he's like, just start the games. You know, that's definitely, look, you don't need me to lead you through a war because there's no war going on right now.
Exactly. But no, I think he does have good characterization throughout this. The idea of taking him in the direction of just being tired and kind of a diva sometimes is in character and pretty like, it's a unique direction.
Right.
But yeah, I do like the Quintessons plan to hire the Decepticons as like mercenaries.
Yeah. Because like I said,
and it feels like coaxing a dog, like a stray dog out of a hole, like, come here, buddy, we got some energon for you.
And doesn't tell them that they're going to put him into a dog fight.
We're going to take you to the vet.
We're going to take you to the dog fight. But yeah. I like that Dead End refers to Swindle on matters of negotiation. Deals. He's
this is
like,
your area
of
your expertise.
and Swindle still doesn't come out of the hole.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not going up there.
I also will point out that Octane is in some of these scenes.
Yes.
Just because I always feel like it's weird that Octane shows up in Thief in the Night. Like, he's just... This is the first time we've ever heard of him, and he's already betrayed the Decepticons. But no, he's in some of these scenes. So
he's also like...
He has been there for a while.
He's kind of positioned as like a perspective character for the Decepticons. Like, he's got several one-off episodes that focus around him.
Yeah. He's an interesting character.
Yeah, he's an interesting character, but like, we don't really see.
We'll talk about it more later, but I just wanted to point out that he does show up in season 3 before his debut episode.
Yeah, but this is where we start getting inklings of Blitzwing's character arc throughout this, where he knows about the Quintessons, but he just can't really remember why. He's just like, I know that name, I know that we shouldn't trust them, but I don't really have enough information right now. It's weird that it's him.
It is.
Because, as with previous characterizations of him, he's kind of a doofus.
Right. Now, it was originally going to, from what I've read on TF Wiki, it was originally going to be revealed that Blitzwing was part of a army inside of Cybertron that the Quintessons wanted to awaken.
Which is really cool concept.
Yeah. And they were some of the original army Decepticons that the Quintessons built.
He was like a prototype Decepticon.
Right.
That's
and
cool.
he's just one that has gotten away. The others were going to be this like dark green, dark green, dark blue, and tan color.
Cool.
And there was actually a repaint of the recent Blitzwing toy that's how I found out about that, was because they actually made a toy of that Blitzwing as a reference to that concept.
Cool.
Recently.
Which feels kind of in line with the it feels like a mix of Blitzwing's color scheme and the Guardian robots from or not the Guardian robots, but the inner Cybertron green robots that were patrolling around Vector Sigma.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting if they like went with that, to where it's like, oh yeah, Blitzwing is like an autonomous like command unit of those types of things.
And he just couldn't remember it right away.
Yeah.
But without that backstory, it's now just implied that either he is really old or just doesn't like the Quintessons.
Yeah.
He does say, though, like, I recognize you, I don't trust you, I just can't remember. So
right.
I think that Blitzwing may actually be from the first generation of, at least like Alpha Trion's generation of Transformers. That he gained, whereas Alpha Trion never did regain never did gain an alternate mode. Blitzwing gained 2. That's why Alpha Trion doesn't have one, his Blitzwing stole it.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's always my favorite gag, though, that they just leave him behind.
Yes.
He's the only one left on track.
It makes sense, though, because it's like, okay,
everybody
he's a jet.
else, yeah.
Like, he could fly, but they already donated all of their energy so that Cyclonus and Scourge could leave. And then the Quintessons all gave them stuff, but he didn't accept the deal, so they're not going to give him any.
Right.
And so it's like, I mean, I physically can't leave.
Yeah.
Like,
but they all go with the Quintessons in their ship, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, all that's for, say aye. All that says no, say nay.
Nay.
Is his voice different than in season 2? It sounds like it's different.
He's way more up in the upper register like that in Triple Takeover. But in here, he's a little bit further down.
I think he's just, worn down.
He's tired.
Tired Blitzwing, yeah.
That's probably character development, though.
Years, so. Yeah, it's part of his character development.
Yeah.
Yeah. His voice is performed differently, for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, it always makes me laugh that when Galvatron shows up, he's still on the planet.
I know. Just sitting there like, oh man.
But Galvatron does remember Blitzwing.
Yes.
He never really interacts with him in the movie.
Yeah. That could
his voice in the movie is like, come on down, Otto Brat.
Right.
And then in here he's like, nay. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah,
Unicron scarred everybody.
I do like that. It's also very ironic that Galvatron's like, finally a loyal follower like that, and then he's like, Galvatron, oh, you're back and stuff.
Yeah.
And when given the past couple of episodes that we've seen of Blitzwing, he has been anything but a loyal soldier.
Right.
He's just a thug. He's a goon.
Yeah. Oh,
a goon with delusions of grandeur.
Something that I forgot to mention earlier is that Dirge and Ramjet are still alive, even though they got eaten by Unicron in the movie. Yeah. Anyway, that was just something funny I wanted.
Actively crushed.
And then they die in episode 5 also. And then they're in the rest of season 3.
Dirge is living up to his name.
Dirge dies so many times and then he's just back with no explanation.
Yep.
It's funny. Anyway, with that, we're going to take a quick break and come back with part 4.
Hey guys, that's the end of part 1 of this episode discussing 5 Faces of Darkness. We will be back soon with parts 4 and 5 and the rest of our segments to round out the episode. That will be coming soon.
Bye.
Bye!